To my channel. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make this simple little girl's dress. So the first thing you're going to do is, as you can see, this dress is just going to have a button at the back. I've folded it into two this way, so the fabric comes folded this way. I've folded it again, so I'm going to be cutting both my front and my back panel together. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm making this for a 6 years old, a small 6 years old, and this fabric is called Tetrex. So, and I have about just 1 yard or 1 yard of it, and it's cut by 60. So now I'm going to start inserting my measurements. So the first thing I'm going to do is to, as I folded it now, you're going to check the widest part of their body. So the widest part of the body I'm working with is about 24. So but now since I'm going to be making it a line, to do is that 24, or the widest part, maybe their hip or around their chest or around their tummy, the widest part, whatever it is, divided by 4. So guys, I'm working with 24 divided by 4 is going to be 6. I'm going to add extra 2 inches to it. This 2 inches is just for the A-line part, and then extra half an inch for my seam allowance. So that's like extra. So the width of the fabric I have here is about 8.5, almost 9 inches. So now you're going to measure from their shoulder to where you want the body of this dress to be. It depends on you if you want it to be just be so this first part is going to be almost like above their knee. So I'm going to work with about 18 inches. So guys, I'm working with 18 inches for the body of the dress. So I added extra 1.5 to it to be able to fold this underneath, and then half an inch to join the shoulder. So I'm working with 19.5. I'm just going to mark that straight line here, and then I'm going to insert the shoulder measurement I'm working with. Shoulder measurement is 10 divided by 2 is 5, and since it's going to be a sleeveless, I'm going to subtract like half an inch from it. So I'm going to be working with 4.5 here, and then I'm going to go. The hole I'm working with is about 12 inches divided by 2 is like 6 here. I'm going to come down here by 0.75, not half an inch, but 0.75, and then I'm going to insert my neckline like 2 inches here, connect this to my shoulder slope, give this part here a curve, and then here I'm going to insert the chest measurement, which is 24 divided by 4. That's going to be 6. I'm going to add extra 1 inch of seam allowance, and then like half an inch of ease. From here now, I'm going to just connect it to the end of this dress this way, just like this. So guys, this is what I'm working with. So after that, I'm going to come down here, mark 1 inch of neckline. So I'm going to just mark 1 inch, 1 inch for the back neckline. Just connect it this way. This is going to be the back. So at this point, I've finished cutting out my clothes. All I have to do is just to go ahead and start cutting it out. So guys, the next thing I'm going to do now is just to give it a curve for my front neckline. It depends on how you want the front neckline to be. So I'm going to use like 3 inches for the front neckline here. So I'm going to just mark that this way. At this point here now, I'm going to separate the front and the back. So I'm going to use this one here for my back panel, and then this one on top for my front panel. So I'm going to separate it, and then I'm just going to cut out the neckline now. So guys, now that I've cut out this neckline, all I have to do is to mark down from this neckline here to up to about 4 inches or so down here. This is going to be for my just a straight line down. This is going to be for my button. So guys, all I have to do now is just to go ahead and join this together. So I'm going to first finish up this back neckline with a placket, and then I'm going to open it up here and join these two together this way. So I'm going to join this. So guys, look at it here. I've finished here, and then this is how I finished the neckline, and then I joined the two shoulders together. I just use this facing for the back neckline so that I can be able to put in a button here, and then this is the front. I've joined the shoulder. So now I'm going to need to put in the sleeve so that I can close up the side and then attach the flare at the bottom. So to put in the sleeve, this is what I'm going to be using as my sleeve length. So it depends on you what you want to use. So this fabric is about 6.5 inches on a fold. So if I open it up more, it might be like, it will be 13 inches length. So folded into 2 is about 6.5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close up the side this way and flip it inside out. So I'm going to close it up for the two of them because it's 2 sleeves, right? So each of them here, I'm going to close up the end and then flip it out and iron it. I'm working with, you can use round her arm like ×2 or ×1.5 to get the width. So what I'm going to do now is this is what I'm using here. I have about, let me see what I have here. So the width I'm using is about 17 inches. So as you can see, I came down here by 2 inches and marked a straight line down, and then I gave it about more than half an inch inside of it. So guys, I placed this elastic inside here, and then I marked on this side just to give it, to know what line I need. So you see, my elastic will fit into this space here. So all I have to do now is just to take this here and pass it in between this. So you see, this was after I sewed it and flipped it inside out. I ironed it down, and then I came down 2 inches from the upper part and then marked this straight line just to make sure that my elastic can fit in, and then marked another one. So at this point now, I've made a casing for my elastic. So all I have to do now is just to pass it through this part here. So guys, you can see my elastic is inside here. So all I have to do is just to pull it to know how much I need it to be. So you see, I'm going to pull it enough now. So you see, this is what my sleeve is going to be. So now what I have to do is just to take this the way it is now. This is going to be round my sleeve. So I'm going to take it how it is. As you can see on this part here, I marked about 1 inch on each side. This is my shoulder. I marked 1 inch here, 1 inch here. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to start from this 1 inch down here. And then I'm going to sew this down to the end of my sleeve like this. So I'm going to start from this top part here, or you can do more than 1 inch, it depends on you. You can do 1.5, you can do 2 inches, and then you're going to just sew it all the way down here to this side of the sleeve, and then take this other side this way and then sew it just like that to end of the sleeve. So guys, you see what mine looks like. And then at the top part here, I just used a little bias to finish it. Let me open it up so you guys can see. That 1 inch that I left, I just cut out this small piece of fabric and just flipped it inside out with a bias that started from here and ended here. So you see, this is the 1 inch piece here. But I just brought it down a little bit into the sleeve part, because this is the sleeve. I just brought it in a little bit here and in a little bit on the other end, so that when you open it up this way on the right side, you see what the opening of the shoulder looks like. So it's like a cold shoulder with ruffle. So now this is the front of the dress here. So now all I have to do is, I'm going to close up the side, and once I close up the side, I'm now going to attach the ruffle at the end. This is what I'm using for my ruffle here. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to tell you guys the length I'm working with here. So I have about 11 inches here. I'm going to fold the top with 1 inch, fold the bottom with 1 inch, and then I'm going to come up here by, and remember, once I close the side here, I'm also going to fold the end of this dress, because remember we left 1 inch for folding the end here and half an inch for joining the shoulder. So I'm going to go ahead, close the side seam, and then close this part too, so that I can be able to join this. So all I have to do here, let me tell you guys the width I'm using. This, it has opening on both ends here, right? So all I have to do is, I'm going to just go ahead now and close up this end here and close up this end here, fold the top part. So the width I have here is about 33 inches width. That's including the seam allowance I need to close these two sides. So I'm going to sew it, then I'll come back and show you guys how I'm going to attach it to the dress. I went ahead and put bias on this neckline, and then I also attached this. So basically how you're going to attach it is, after you've sewed the sides close, right, you have your normal dress, and then I folded the edge of the normal dress, and then I took that flayed I had and placed it on top like this on the sewing machine, right? Just placed it like this and started to plait this on top of it. So this is attached just on top of this one here. This here is just a basic dress, and then I place this on top of it all the way around. As you can see, I make sure that the side seam here is on this side too, and then the side seam on this flay is also on this side. So that's how I attached it, and I had about 1.5 from the top here to the bottom. So you see, I also sewed this part here. So you're going to first of all sew round to hem the edges of this, or the top at the bottom, the one you're using for the flay, and then you're going to place it on top of this, and then just split it as you're going with your hand. If you see, all the gathers are not the same, because I was just splitting it with my hand, just pushing the fabric together as I was attaching it on top directly on top of this. But before that, I already hemmed this and I'm following the hem line. So it's just like on top of this, my hemline of this dress, this is where this particular dress ends. This is the length here. So directly on top of it is where I attach this. So that's basically how you're going to make this dress here. If you look at the back, so guys, if you look at the back here, you'll see the button. So I just put this buttonhole thing here on one side and then button on the other side. So this here came with my neckline. So finished up my neckline with bias here because this fabric here is too thick. I can't use lining for it, and this is a little girl, so you don't want to make the fabric too heavy. So I just use bias instead of, anyway I'm supposed to use lining, I use bias for it. So, and then also for the inside of this here, when you're sewing it, so guys, for the sleeve, as I was sewing the sleeve, I tried for my sleeve started 1 inch before the top part here and it ended about 1 inch before the end. You see, so it started 1 inch before the shoulder joining and then 1 inch before the end, so that when I finished, I just folded it down this way and sewed it. Because if you sew this here directly into the end of the fabric, you won't be able to sew close this part, because when you sew it close, then you'll be sewing this one too. You'll be sewing this fabric in and then it will be bulky, it will not flip out. So you have to stop 1 inch before the end of this here, so that you can be able to just fold it this way and then sew it down as your seam allowance or whatever. If it's half an inch that you left for your seam allowance, try not to sew the sleeve into that half an inch. For me, I left half an inch, not 1 inch, so that's why I have half an inch of seam allowance here. So mine stops half an inch before the end. So that's basically it here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you try out this to make this here. You can make it even for an adult. It will look nice. You just have to make it maybe shoulder to the just below the hip, and then this flare will go round below the hip on an adult. I think this will look really nice for an adult also. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, share and subscribe. Bye.